Hawkfanatic.com. This segment brought to you by Patrick Eads and the staff at Deary Brothers Ford on Mormon Trek. Steve Anderson, Hawkeye Title and Settlement. Mike's E-Keys for Cars. GT Car and his great crew at Supple's Building and Remodeling. Supple's Flowers, the home of 1-800-800-ROSE. The Midtown Family Restaurants. Harty and Stocker Jewelers, 101 South Dubuque Street, downtown Iowa City. Diamond Dream Sports Academy. Senior Benefits. Premier Automotive in North Liberty. The Oxyoke Inn in the Amanas. Streets Maintenance. Dr. Lance Forbes, Diamond Dental in Cedar Rapids. And Big Dog Tech Solutions. Here's Tom Suter. And from Hawkfanatic.com, Pat Harty.
Thank you, Cap. Morning, Mr. Harty.
Good morning.
Are you basketballed out yet?
No, but just in case, we have spring football press conference tomorrow, so there you go. Players, Kirk at 2:30, players at 10:30. Fire up, Captain, spring football. That's when teams are made. Yeah. Foundations are built and laid and built. Do you agree?
No.
You don't agree?
No.
What do you don't like spring football?
If it was a real game or...
Well, exactly.
Well, they don't do that. Well, it can't be a real game. It's 15 practices.
Yeah.
What do you want to play a game every day?
Yes.
You imagine that they play a game.
Nebraska has a real game.
Yeah, and only 23,000 showed up the last time.
Really?
Yeah, at least according to some Nebraska guy who tweeted that, and they're not going to. I wouldn't think they would lie about something not being as good. But Iowa quit doing the game stuff years ago, but they didn't draw that many people. When I first got here, Hayden would play the scrimmage, and there'd be some star that everyone would fawn over who we'd never hear from again.
It was never more than 8,000, was there?
Well, I think there was maybe 15, maybe 20 in there. But a lot of that, by the time I got here in the early 90s, I think that it kind of ran its course, and Kirk did it for a while. I don't have a problem with what Kirk does now. I mean, I think spring games are so overrated.
It just doesn't do much, you know. I mean, you see some drills and.
I mean, yeah, you can get hurt in practice too, but
7-on-7.
I don't really care anymore. Spring football is what it is. They give us about 4 or 5 opportunities for access starting tomorrow. I think tomorrow we get like linebackers and D-backs maybe, and then Kirk at 2:30.
Now, I understand how important it is to teams their spring.
It's very important, yeah.
But it's boring.
But, yeah, I mean, it's very important. It's a huge part of the process.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, at least media-wise, it starts tomorrow. And I can't remember when they said the spring that, they end it with an open practice where they do sort of a scrimmage. Not much, I mean, but they do have a scrimmage, and the hardcore media people take stats and keep all that stuff down and what have you. So there is some semblance of a live practice game type thing, but just not sustained from start to finish, where they keep scoring this team versus that team.
Well, I will say I came out of that very impressed with Vanami. I thought he had a real good couple great plays. Yeah, he's one guy that stood out to me.
What, in the spring?
Yes.
I don't even remember last spring. I don't remember DJ Vanami doing anything until the season started, and then he was really good. Yeah, I couldn't tell you one thing about last year's spring open practice.
Well, that's about the only thing I can tell you about.
Yeah, I don't remember anything from it, other than probably standing on the metal bleachers on the north side or the east side of the stadium, because that's where they send the media. But, yeah, it is what it is. But it's a very important, the stuff we don't see is the important stuff. I mean, we're going to see an hour scrimmage on the last day, but all the important stuff is the stuff going on now and behind the scenes. And they got 3 starters to replace on the offensive line, 9 on defense, new starting quarterback. They got a lot of holes to fill.
Yeah, they do.
And people ask me, what's your record? Gee, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, 7-5, 8-4. That's kind of where
I think
I'll say that until Kirk probably retires.
The line is 7.5.
Well, it's always 7.5 for Iowa. Almost always.
It seems to be.
Almost all. I mean, last year they had a little bit. They went 9-4. I mean, but 8-4 is not too far. That's kind of 8-4, 7-5. And the reason I tilt towards 7-5 a little bit is they got a lot of holes to fill, and they were 9-4 this past year with all those players that are now gone. So. To say that they're going to go 8-4, 7-5, I don't think is like some big slap in the face.
No,
I just don't see right now what I don't. There's just too many questions to say. Yeah, this team's going to make a run for the title. There's way too many questions.
Yeah,
starting at quarterback.
For sure.
So, football, baby. But no, I'll tell you what, that Duke, I just happened to be watching it from start. I'm like, man, this is a fun game, but man, Duke looks really good. It's hard. You don't see UConn struggle that much early and get down by 19, but then they just kept coming. Did I expect that stuff at the end? No, but man, I just happened to watch it unfold, and I'm like, I tweeted afterwards, I'm just like, wow. I mean, that's as good as I've seen in the NCAA tournament.
Well, that's why it's such an interesting product.
Well, that's what Pitino tweeted. This is why college basketball is the best. We've got this. But again, it goes to the NCAA is all that matters now. I mean, Duke's season is horrible. The Boozer sucks. Shire can't win big games. Overrated, blah, blah. All of this is because it happens in the NCAA tournament. Duke won 35 games and made it to the Elite Eight. And there's people just ripping Shire for not knowing how to win big games and, put the nail in the coffin, all those cliches, what have you. You could argue that Boozer should have kept the ball and just held it to himself, and then they go and try to foul him or take it away from him and whatever. But it's so natural as a human. You see a guy wide open down the court, you just naturally think you're going to get the ball to him. But the defender for UConn, athletic, jumped quickly and high, made a great play, tipped the ball, and then it was anybody's ball then. And then after that, that was just, the fact that kid who made that shot, he'd been shooting horribly the whole game. He'd been missing so many shots, not just missing, just bricks. The moment they left his hand, you knew they weren't going in. But then, boy.
Perfect shot.
And it was great that Caravan, their senior star player who had made a big three earlier, just seconds earlier, but who had also been struggling the whole game, he had enough forethought to get the ball to Mullins, who had more momentum moving towards the basket from 35 feet. Mm-hmm. And he just got the ball in natural rhythm, muscle memory, elbow in, flick the wrist, boom. It goes in, and it was a Caitlin-type three.
It was.
And he made it, and it was over. And that's what's so amazing about the NCAA tournament is how sudden and how final it is.
Well, we had some of that
with Iowa.
Of course.
We'll just look at Iowa. We're riding this magical ride to the Elite Eight. It's just incredible, all the stuff, and then boom, Illinois dominates the second half. It's over. It's over. The season's over. Now you're left to kind of reflect on it and be like, man, what a ride, 24-13. What a great ride it was, Elite Eight. I never thought I'd be saying that. Never thought I would see that. And I was ready to go to that final. Were you going to go? Were you talking yourself into it?
We had discussed it a little bit. We probably would have.
A week in Indy. That's what it would have been, a week in it. Probably 8 days in Indy. That would have been what I would title it.
No, it would have been a 2-day.
You'd be staying in all those plush downtown hotels, whereas I'd be out on Speedway at a Red Roof.
I don't think you can get into the plush hotels downtown.
Well,
those are sold out so quickly.
Well, even when I worked at the newspapers, when things started struggling, when we'd go to Indy, they'd say, let's find that Red Roof Inn out in Speedway's a nice place. Why don't you go there again? We spent a lot of time. They tore that thing down, but no, we were going to go. Mike and we had already been told we could get credentials, and we were set to go, hotel room. He was going to drive, and boom, I was really pulling for Iowa. Now, I was pulling for Iowa to win for a lot, but selfishly, I was pulling for them to win, too, because I wanted to cover the Final Four in person, and it didn't happen. Illinois took it away from us. Do we hate Illinois now, Captain, going into the Final Four?
We're not crazy about them.
But hate, you never will go as far as with hate.
Why do you want me to hate?
I don't know. I don't know why I want you to hate. I'm going to have to come to terms with that. I like it when I ask you, do you hate this guy? I don't hate him. You always say, I don't hate him, but I don't like him. There's a
lot of I don't like.
I know, but not many hates.
Only one hate.
We're not going to.
We're not going to say.
Not going to say. But no, I was really cheering for them to win for a lot of reasons.
For sure.
You're going to think I'm weird, but when they got off to that start, I'm like, I don't like this, because Illinois was missing so many shots that you knew eventually it was going to make. Plus, they started defending the three better. I thought they made some decisions how they played pick and rolls and what have you. But that Mirkovic was missing so many point-blank shots that you knew eventually they were going to start hitting. And Keaton Wagler is really good.
Yes, he is.
God, is he good.
Hello.
Hello. What are your predictions for the NCAA for the men?
I don't have a feeling on any of it. All four of them could win, and it wouldn't surprise me.
Do you think it could be all Big Ten?
Well, it could.
Could be.
There's two teams. Yeah, Illinois. Yeah, no, it could. Now, would I be surprised if it's not? No, nothing would surprise me.
I'm kind of leaning Arizona, but we'll see.
I mean, Michigan. If Michigan had its backup point guard, L.J. Kaysen, I'd be probably way more towards Michigan, but I still think that may haunt them in one of these two games.
Well, Michigan had a pretty great game yesterday.
Yeah, they played well. Wow. Yeah, they really did.
Maybe they played themselves out.
Well, that Tennessee team
overachieved.
Shot their wad.
Overachieved.
Yeah,
it overachieved. And they took advantage.
Game.
They wouldn't have beaten Iowa State, I don't think, if Josh Jessup. And Iowa State would have given Michigan a much better game.
Yes.
I think they would have.
I think so, too. Our baseball and softball teams didn't do so well.
No.
0-3 and 0-3.
Yeah, I was hoping they could at least avoid sweeps, but it didn't happen. Those teams are really good, and now we know why they're really good. I thought baseball would be a little, like Rick said in the final game, this team's going to do this to a lot of teams. He goes, what's disappointing is we made it easy for them. Too many walks and free bases. If you're playing against a team that's better than you.
Well, they hit a guy I think they hit 3 guys.
Well, they did, but the walks and what have you, and then they have power hitters. Next thing you know, a solo home run's a 3-run homer. And it was just, it was not even competitive the last 2 games.
Yeah. I think the best baseball game was the first one.
Yeah, it was 5-2, yeah.
Yeah.
Then it was 19-0 and 14-6. Jesus. Well, they are number one for a reason.
19-0.
Yeah, and the weather yesterday was pleasant. UCLA probably loved playing in that weather yesterday.
Well, it was still a little chilly. I mean, I saw people walk in. I saw one person walk in with a halter top. I thought, this is March, not
it wasn't
July.
that warm. What did you get? High 50s, low 60s yesterday? It was beautiful yesterday, sitting out on the deck for a while.
So the halter top person, was that male or female, Karen?
That was a female.
Oh, thank God.
When's the last time you wore a halter top, Karen?
Well, long time ago, and you'll never see me wear one again.
How long has it been since you've worn one?
A couple of weeks.
I figured that.
And especially not to a baseball game.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I was hoping each team would be able to get at least one, but that
But they didn't.
Yeah,
they
that's
didn't.
what I was hoping.
I mean, Washington.
One of the assistant coaches for the baseball team said, "We just can't play with those guys."
No, obviously.
So.
Yeah, no, they're good. I mean, they're really good.
I said, well, maybe some year.
I mean, Washington actually no-hit the softball team, I believe, in the second game. It was a no-hitter. Yeah, I remember posting the story. So, you give those teams credit for traveling a long distance, coming in and showing why they're
kicking ass.
And I mean, the Washington softball team's 12-0 in conference play.
And they had quite a few people there.
Did they really?
Well, the Bruins had quite a few people there, too.
Interesting. I would not have expected. Hey, let's that'd be like you and Ann living in L.A. and say, hey, man, let's go spend 8 days in Iowa City. You guys would never do that, would you?
Probably not. Well, although we like Iowa City.
Yeah, but if you lived in L.A. and you had would you?
Well, that's the one thing that would never happen.
I
don't like L.A.
No, I don't either. But what if you were living there comfortably? I'm surprised that so many people took the. But when you're good, I guess that's what happens.
Yeah,
parents find more energy to go to all these different places. And I'm guessing a lot of these are still doing this for the first time. A lot of these teams, this was UCLA's first time, and a lot of this is let's see what it's like in Iowa City.
Well, we're still going to try to go out to the Washington game, football game.
Don't you have friends out there?
Yeah.
That's quite a ways out there.
And what do we know what time that one starts yet? Is it like 10:30?
I don't think so.
Like 10:30? My guess is it'll
Probably
start somewhere.
Night.
If it's a night game, it's going to start somewhere between 8 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a night game.
10.
Yeah, those 10 o'clock kickoffs are just wild.
When do they have the spring scrimmage?
Well, they put the thing out yesterday. Well, here I think it's the 25th, April 25th or something. Here I can find it.
Yeah, it's late April.
It's in late April.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you guys have a good day.
You too, Carl.
Well, we will give it a shot, Karen. Thanks.
Okay. Bye.
So now, as far as the women ends of things, I'm not near as interested in any of them.
The games are boring. They're not competitive. Nobody's in the arenas. They need Caitlin back.
And they're all it's probably going to go chalk, and all the number ones in the Final Four. To me, that couldn't be more boring.
I mean, Gino just ripped the. I mean, he brought up some good points. Like one day they had to be at some media thing at like really early in the morning, but then their practice time was later on that day, and he was kind of suggesting, why can't we just do all of it lumped together? Like, do the media thing and then have your practice time right afterwards. And I've seen people say, like, why are they putting a regional in Sacramento? What they were questioning the sites, and because a lot of these games, Tom, if you look, the arenas are empty.
Oh, they are.
I mean, they are empty. And we're talking about Elite Eight games between Power Four teams with all these good recruits, and there's nobody there.
No.
It's not a good thing for the women's game right now. And the fact that the games aren't very competitive.
Well, because the best players
are playing at home.
And
they're already way better.
Yeah, I mean, there's just not much parity. And there's not enough great women's basketball players to go around, and so they're congregating still at the.
Yeah, I mean, Caitlin was an aberration.
She was 100%.
That was an aberration. Without her, they don't get to the final. They still would have been really good teams. Iowa had a good team with Megan, and what have you. But Caitlin was the reason all of a sudden Iowa was up there with LSU and South Carolina for 2 years.
Do you think that the USA games, kind of burn people out too?
No, I just think the tournament
they had great ratings.
Yeah, but they had nobody in the arena.
There was literally nobody. I mean, maybe 100.
Yeah, and the games weren't very interesting. They just weren't very competitive. I didn't.
Not
don't get me wrong. I love Caitlin, but I'm not going to sit around and watch a 60-point game so I can see Caitlin come in there and make a couple more passes. Those games were boring.
They were. What we did was.
Here's the schedule.
All right.
Let's see. Tomorrow we got selected player interviews, linebackers, D-backs, 10:30 a.m. I want Lang over there asking the hard questions. Is that going to happen?
No.
I want him over there asking the hard questions, Captain. Kirk Ferentz news conference 2:30. I want Lang there asking the real difficult
Lang had
questions.
a very busy weekend.
Doing what?
He was at the AEW wrestling.
All-Star Wrestling?
Thing. Yeah, going on at the 5.
He likes that stuff, doesn't he?
Well, there's a wrestler that has a puppet, and so he brought one of his puppets.
All right,
got on TV.
You don't need to go any. You don't need to go any further with that story. You guys think I'm weird. All right. Thursday, April 9th, photo, video, first 30 minutes of practice for the media fan, not for fans, and then selected player interviews, D-line, O-line. Tomorrow we get linebacker, D-backs, tight ends, and wide receivers. Think about all that we get all that access to all those different. Thursday, the 16th, quarterbacks and running backs, 10:30 a.m. And then Wednesday, April, we get the coordinators, which they always give us the Wednesday before the fun. And then Saturday, April 25th, final spring practice. We'll get selected player interviews, Kirk with the media. Time is to be determined. But, yeah, it's on Saturday, April 25th. That's when they'll wrap up spring practice. So almost exactly a month from now. No, less than a month. Today's what?
Less than a month.
Today's
the 30th.
Today's the 30th. Yeah, so God, to think we're almost out of March. The madness is almost over. And what madness it was.
For me, it is.
I couldn't believe. I mean, watching them, I couldn't believe. I kept saying to myself, God, they're playing in the Elite Eight. And I kept thinking back to that loss at Maryland where they couldn't keep the guards in front of them. And I'm like,
with 6 people in the stands.
Yeah, and I'm like, this team's in the Elite Eight, and when they got off to that 9-0, 12-2, Sturts making crazy shots, I'm like, I was getting ready to text Halas. I'm like, God, is this really going to happen? Because we hadn't got our hotel rooms or anything, because we were going to do that on the fly. We were just going to drive to the Indy area. We've done this enough over the years, so you can always find. And I was not going to stay in the media hotel downtown. I was not.
That cost you what, $800?
Well, I quit doing that years ago. Hell, the Press Citizen quit doing that. They made it. We're not doing, and that was fine. Hotels are hotels. Like I've said before, there's stains in all of them. They don't discriminate.
Jesus Christ.
They don't. Can you agree? Stains don't discriminate.
I don't believe there's stains in all of them.
Oh, I do.
Just think everybody.
No.
Just
the lower end ones, 100%.
No, that's not true. There's a black. Why don't you Google the black light experiment? Hunter, you remember that story? They did a black light investigation with hotels, and they found that the plush ones, were as dirty or dirtier.
Really?
Yeah, they were Stain City.
Stain City, Stain City.
But I was gonna stay in hotels. I've done my part in supporting hotels over the years. I've stayed in tons of them. They just have stains. And I told you the one that I went to in Bloomington, Indiana, it had blood on it. They acknowledged it. They acknowledged it and got us a different. And the guy asked if I wanted a different bedspread, even though they acknowledged that there was a big stain on. I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't mind a different one.
We stayed in one of the last trips we took, and there was dirty underwear in like the.
And here you are defending them. I mean, you're on my side at the core of this, Captain. You're on my side.
Well, you're just there's just stains.
Where was the dirty underwear? In a drawer?
Yeah.
I had. If that, I would not have stayed.
How
in
do
that
you
room.
know it was dirty?
Because I opened the door.
I was going to say something, but I forgot we're on the air. If we weren't on the air, I would have said something that made you laugh, but at your expense.
So why would dirty underwear be in a drawer? Is the question.
I have no idea. We got out of that room.
Oh,
yeah,
fair enough.
I would have left that hotel.
It was one of those microtels, but I didn't understand the concept, and and it looked really nice from the outside.
And it meant there's going to be microorganisms in the hotel.
It was just
that was.
Yeah, I said I want my money back. We're getting out of here.
No, I would have done the same thing. But I thought it was funny that the hotel acknowledged that there was a big noticeable stain, and then asked me if I wanted a new bedspread. No, well, I'm good.
Yeah, aren't the microtels, aren't those uber efficiencies? I mean, really small,
ridiculous
scale.
Yeah,
and I didn't understand it.
But aren't they pretty cheap too?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not worth it. No, they're ridiculously small.
Well, and cheap for a hotel now is $75 to $100.
You have
a
a bed, a dresser that's bunched up to the bed, a television that's on top of the dresser.
It's like a Manhattan apartment.
It's just it's depressing as all hell. And then I open up the drawer.
Yeah, that would not be good. I would have probably vomited. But how did you determine that they were dirty?
You could tell it when you got
skid marks on it.
Yes.
Oh, all right.
Yes.
Let's go back to the Hawks,
yes.
Please.
We stayed
facing upward.
Please, back to the Hawks.
We stayed at a Knights Inn in Omaha. Made the mistake.
When you say we
were coming back
the
from
band.
Colorado. No,
band.
this was just a couple years ago.
Oh, just you and Ann?
And the kids. No, it was not. And it was brutally bad.
Well, okay, give us an example. Why?
It was dirty. It was tacky.
How was it tacky?
Old furniture.
Oh, okay. Was it depressing?
Yeah.
It sucked the life out of the Suter family, that hotel did.
And it was still,
I'm turning you guys against hotels. I didn't mean to do this.
Night.
I'm not against hotels. I've stayed in nice hotels.
Now, if one of them called me and said they wanted to advertise on Hawkfanatic, I'd go out and stay in that. No, I better not say it.
No, you wouldn't.
Hey.
If you want to advertise on Hawkfanatic, I'm your customer. There you go.
Yeah, I cannot.
I could hear the commercial. Like, if you don't mind a couple skid marks.
Oh my! And then that other hotel, and I believe it was in Bloomington too. They admitted to not turning the heat on until we checked into the room and suggested we go out and get something to eat. That was like one of my. Well, the room that was like 1990s. Yikes. The guy, just go get something to eat. There's a lot of places out here, and by the time you get back to the room, we'll be warmed up. And I'll never forget that.
That'd be a red flag.
Well, I didn't have a choice, so it was the Press Citizen that booked the room, or we had booked it with their. I can't remember. Then I told you the one where I walked into the wrong room and the two black ladies called the front office and said there's some white trashy guy trying to get into our room, and it was me. That was wow. I think that happened in Indiana too. I don't know what it is with Indiana. So all right, back to the Hawks. But no, and I wrote something yesterday. Obviously, they need a point guard, and Ben was even talking about a post player. Now, when you say post player, everyone automatically thinks 7-1. Post player can be a lot of different things. They need
a rim protector and a rebounder.
They need a scorer inside, too, though, Tom. They need a 6'9", 6'10" guy who can get buckets.
Yeah.
Protect the rim.
Yes,
because you guys got to realize, without Sturts, there's going to be so many more opportunities for other players to have the ball in their hands and to score. And you got to hope they're up to it. I'm comfortable with Cale Combs. I think he's going to be a good guard next year. I think he's going to be.
He can be the lead guard, though?
I don't know if he necessarily has to be. If they get someone else to kind of share the responsibility, that's what I think they'll do. Cale's
a good player.
I agree. And I mentioned like Jackson Shelstad. He seems to be he's only 6 foot. But I saw kind of an early list. It was Arizona. It was all the blue bloods. Now, it'll be interesting to see if Ben tries to compete with those guys, or if Ben just kind of does what Iowa football. Well, we don't need the best. We don't need the so-called best. We'll find our guy, and we'll be fine with our guy, kind of like what Iowa does with football. So that will be interesting to see. But, yeah, they need another guard that's ready to hit the floor running big time. Yeah. And preferably you need it to be a point guard, because I still think Combs is better at 6'4", playing off, being sort of a shooting guard who can handle the ball. Now, the thing Combs has to do this offseason is just work on that three-point shot.
Yeah,
just work.
Shoot.
He does everything else fine. He's a good defender. He can pass. He can handle the ball. He is a legitimate 6'4". Just get that shot going, because you're going to have a lot more opportunities, because Bennett's not going to be there. No. And it's going to be interesting to see how Ben moves forward without Bennett. Right now, Ben can do no wrong. I've said he is the hero that Iowa fans have been waiting for, and it'll be interesting to see, because like we were talking prior to the show, next year, for me, the only way will be disappointing next year is if they don't make the NCAA tournament. They need to make
that would be very disappointing.
That would be a real big step back that you just don't want to see.
But the other thing I don't want to see is expectations being, okay, that's where we're at, the Elite Eight.
No, I said to you, do I think they're going to go to the Elite Eight next year? No. No, I probably may not make the Sweet 16, but if they can just get in the tournament again and kind of keep that flow and consistency going, what you want to do is avoid a significant step back. And, I mean, you could do a start. Cale Combs, Tate Sage, Cam Manuel, Tavian Banks, and Alvaro Figueras.
I don't think Tavian's going to get his year, do you?
I do.
Oh, you do?
Well, I go back and forth. He did say after the game that if he does, he's going to come back. He wants to stay here and come back. I think there's definitely a chance. I mean, I'm probably 55-45 thinking a lot of these guys will get this extra year, because that seems to be where they're going with that. But just right there, assuming everyone, they're 6'10", 6'9", 6'7", 6'4", and 6'7". Think about that.
Well, we have some height.
Yeah, there's definitely a solid nucleus to build around. I mean, you could do a lot worse than that starting lineup I just mentioned there.
Yeah.
Now, the one concern would be with that starting lineup is three-point shooting.
Yeah.
I mean, Tate Sage was good, but he wasn't consistent all year. And I'm still not ready to say Cale Combs is a great three-point shooter.
No, he isn't, and Cooper was getting there.
Oh, and I forgot about Cooper. He's definitely going to be a starter next year. He's the one I left out. So what I'm saying, though, I mentioned those five. There's a solid six, and you throw Isaiah Howard in. That's seven. You could go in a lot of different ways with starting lineups. You know, I think Cooper played well enough at the end to where I think he is going to be secure as the starter at the small forward position.
I would think so.
But,
absolutely.
you know, starting's also overrated. Let's say next year they find some combo where they think Cooper's better coming off the bench and playing 25 or 30 minutes. Who knows? I don't think that will happen, but maybe starting – I mean, I think if Fulgaris, assuming he stays, I think he's going to want to start next year, don't you?
I would think he wants to. I don't know if Ben wants him to.
But I'm not sure if he will, because he's a matchup problems at times for opponents, but also for Iowa. Against Illinois, he didn't have the girth to defend those guys, and they took him out because his game's pretty limited beyond he can shoot from the perimeter, but defensively there's only so many people he can guard, whereas Cooper. So let's see. No, my starting lineup for next year right now with what they have would be Koch. Manuel starts over Fulgaris because he's more of a defensive center. He's more of a post. So it would be Manuel, Koch, Sage, Combs, and Banks. That ain't bad. But what don't you have? Bennett Sturtz.
You don't.
But that's not a bad starting lineup, at least on paper. I mean, Tavian Banks, I think, without Bennett's going to get a lot more opportunities to shoot next year, assuming he's back. And I think he'll take even more threes. He shot well from three this year, but he didn't take many.
No, he didn't.
But, yeah, hopefully with those decisions, I'm not sure how long they'll take. Those are the kind of decisions, though, they need to get these things decided quickly so these guys can plan for their future. Hopefully these things won't drag out. But now you just got to keep them. I mean, there's no guarantee. Do I think there's going to be a lot of guys leaving? No. Why would you leave something that's just starting to really pick up? It'll be interesting to see if all these guys do stay. I mean, you just never say never anymore in this age.
It's too hard to tell.
And it'll be interesting to see if we read about you hear so they're coming hard after Sage. I mean,
well, and there will be some.
I think there will be some of that. I think there definitely will be some of that. 6'7" shooting guard from Oklahoma. I mean,
and he had a really strong tournament.
No, he did. He had 29 points in his last 2 games in the tournament, 19 and 10. And he scored in a variety of different ways. So, no, it was a magical run. I mean, it really was. I never would have expected it. And
having to beat the number 1 seed to do it is just so unlikely.
And after watching the other number 1 seeds, Florida was the worst number 1 seed. But, hey, sometimes you got to get lucky. Yep. Iowa got a nice matchup, and they took advantage of it.
Ben Jacobson.
Yes, that was another thing I was great. Yeah. That surprised me. I thought he was going to retire there.
So Utah State?
Yeah, 5 years.
Yeah.
It was announced this morning, and it'll be interesting to see who gets the UNI job now. But Utah State's a really good program now. I think I read they've been to the tournament 7 out of 8 years under 4 different head coaches who all parlayed that into bigger jobs.
Uh-huh.
And they've got really good NIL resources and commitment. So, I mean, I give Ben credit. He could have left a long time ago. And where is Utah State? Is it in Provo? I mean, Utah is
I'm not sure.
Utah is a beautiful. Have you been there? It's a beautiful state. I mean,
we played there.
It's kind of hard to buy beer. It's kind of hard to buy beer at times. But
that was not a good deal.
Yeah, we had to drive. I remember we had to drive like 2 different counties to get a 6-pack, and I was like, God, where's Iowa City when you need it? I mean, Iowa City, there's 6-packs practically falling on your lap, and that drive-through's almost done.
It's in Logan.
Logan, Utah. Okay, all right. I'm sure it's pretty out there. I mean,
it is.
Last time I was in Utah was Salt Lake for the Iowa basketball. Was it against Arizona or Duke? They lost to. Remember, I think it was Andre's senior year. That was played in Salt Lake City, and I remember going up in some of the mountains on. It was just really.
Oh, it's very pretty.
It's beautiful, but again, we couldn't find beer.
We played in Coeur d'Alene, and it's weird because what they did is
that's in Idaho, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Where did we play in Utah?
Coeur d'Alene, I've heard different things about Coeur d'Alene. Isn't that where a lot of Aryan Nation type?
Yeah.
Were they in
we
the audience?
We played at a real exclusive resort.
Yeah.
And it was pretty white.
Well, but that doesn't mean they were all part of the Aryan Nation. But there isn't that up there though? I think that. I think that area of Idaho is known for
98% Aryan Nation.
Yeah.
According to my percentages.
But when we did play Utah, they sold the setups, Pepsi and stuff, and technically didn't sell the alcohol. Mm-hmm. So it was odd.
So everybody was sober?
No. I can't remember if you could bring your own booze in or if they gave it to you if you bought the Pepsi. But no, they sold the soft drink.
I see.
But they did not sell the booze.
Weird.
It was very weird.
That is bizarre. It doesn't sound very smart financially either.
They just have this odd. Oh, I'm sure they charged a pretty penny for the.
Well, even in other states, though, there's times in Indiana and Illinois where you'll go to play where stores don't sell. You have to go to a liquor store. Iowa City in Iowa is different than a lot of other places. I mean, it's everywhere around here. Booze Fest, and that place is it still has pallets in front of it, the one that says smoke and liquor. I love that sign.
Casey's might as well be a liquor store.
Well, yeah, it is. Yeah. But that one's still not open yet. Do you guys know when it's opening?
No.
Hello.
Hey, Tom.
Yeah.
So the club we played, it was right outside of Salt Lake City. Was it in Provo?
Yeah,
something like that.
It wasn't Salt Lake City proper,
but it was right. I mean, it was It was right next to it.
Yes.
Because it's such a huge spread out thing, kind of like Phoenix is. And what they did was the nightclub that had the bands. The cover charge was couched as a membership purchase.
Oh, that's
so
right.
So then they were members of that private club. And in the private club, they could consume alcohol.
Jeez. Oh, God. Okay.
Don't you remember that? We were like,
I do now.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, and it was. I mean, in the cover, they weren't big. They were like $1 or $2, and I don't know about the alcohol part. They may have had it in the club because it's a private club.
Yeah, they did.
It was not subject to some of the other restrictions.
So, did that include liquor and beer under the same umbrella? Did they treat it the same?
I'm sure they did.
Okay.
I can't.
Yeah. I'm sure they did.
God bless Iowa City.
They didn't make it easy.
Fascinated by the workaround because we were a little surprised to be playing a nightclub in Utah.
Yeah, they didn't make it easy.
Interesting.
And we were like, But yeah, we actually ended up having a fun time, and we saw the really cool psychic, so that was fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
All right, well.
That was the only other psychic besides Bonnie that had any kind of insight that we felt.
Yeah.
And she hit some things on the money. She said, what was the thing about the oil change?
She warned us that there was a problem with the vehicle. And she indicated that I believe she actually indicated it was something to do with the oil pan or the line. She said, you need to check that because it could be dangerous.
And you did?
When we got back to the hotel, our keyboard player had discovered a problem with the oil, a leak in the oil pan, and he was changing the oil and fixing stuff. So we had no idea she was on the money about that one until we got back to the hotel.
Well, that's
she
crazy.
told me a couple things. There's no way there could have been a tell.
Yeah.
And she said a couple things to me that were
spot on.
Yeah, spot on.
Kind of creepy.
There's no way in hell she should have ever known.
Kind of creepy.
It was pretty cool.
It
was really cool. And then she gave us the energy transfer?
Yes.
It was so fun. She held our hands, and she willed all this positive energy into us, and Tommy and I skipped back to the car, our own car, not the band car, which was having problems with its oil pan. Anyway, I just wanted to clarify that about the club. And what was the name of the club, Tom?
Oh, boy, that I can't remember. You?
Something about Apex and Nader. Remember, it had a logo with a high point and a low point. But what was it called?
See, I remember most of the club names and stuff. I obviously am blanking part of this particular gig.
Well, we can look it up because I still have somewhere in our house every single the bookkeeping sheet for every single gig that we did after I was put in charge of the money.
God, with all of that money that we made, that was...
Yeah, there was a reason I was in charge of the money.
Yes, there was.
Strong reason.
There was.
But, no, we can look it up. But I think it was something like, it wasn't Odyssey, it was... Yeah, anyway, sorry, I'm taking up too much of your time.
That's all right.
But anyway, I just wanted to remind you about the buying the membership.
The club thing, yeah. I had forgotten that. Yep.
It's pretty clever. Talk to you guys later.
All right.
Did you hear Wapsie?
Yeah.
In the back, barking.
Yeah.
She wanted a Frosty Paw. She doesn't have any at home, does she?
No.
Or there was a butterfly out.
Just here. It's the only place Wapsie can go for Frosty Paws.
This is true.
Poor Wapsie.
Yeah, poor deprived Wapsie.
Wapsie's got a
horrible gig she has.
Wapsie has a rough life over there on Rita Lynn.
Well, should we take our break?
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back. I did
1-800-800-ROSE. 1-800-800-ROSE. Your FTD florist is the only number you need to know to send flowers anywhere in the country or Canada from anywhere in the country. 1-800-800-ROSE. It's so easy. Just remember one number. 1-800-800-ROSE. Your FTD florist. 1-800-800-ROSE. Remember,
don't wait for an emergency to get a backup for your car keys. Unlike the olden days, car keys have gotten extremely complex. Mike's eKeys for Cars can generate the most technically advanced automotive keys that are on the market today. For spares and lost keys, Mike's eKeys for Cars can produce most conventional transponder, high security, and remote head keys. Mike's eKeys for Cars will keep you on the road. Call 319-330-9185 and schedule an appointment today. Don't wait until it's too late. Call 319-330-9185 today.
For a gift that your loved one will treasure for a lifetime, find it at our family-owned jewelry store in Iowa City, Hertine and Stocker Jewelers.
We can show you diamond engagement rings, colored stones, fashion jewelry, and watches.
Our jewelers are on site so we can design jewelry for that special person in your life.
We are Hertine and Stocker, serving Iowa City and the surrounding area for 3 generations.
Hertine and Stocker Jewelers, downtown Iowa City, and HertineandStockerJewelers.com. Ask for Willa, Terry, Tim, or Kate. One of us is always there.
So, did you get your holiday lights down yet? What if your home could shine magically with just a tap? Introducing Illumilights from Big Dog Tech, the permanent smart LED lighting system that installs once and lights up your life year-round. No ladders, no hassle, just beautiful lighting that makes your home stand out day and night. Visit BigDogTech.net and schedule your free quote today. Illumilights, light up life.
Diamond Dream Sports Academy 20,000 square foot indoor facility holds 8 batting cages, space for infield work, space for throwing and pitching and all your arm care needs. Offers private instruction, group lessons, camps and clinics, leagues, memberships. Rentals available at Diamond Dreams is open to the public.
Our top level instructors include former professional, college, and Olympic athletes. Our coaches will help these athletes achieve their full athletic potential. Develop a strong work ethic and a solid base to build. The last thing you want to do is look back and wish you had worked or played harder.
Locally owned and established in 2005, Diamond Dreams is Eastern Iowa's premier training facility. Located at 2905 Stoner Court, North Liberty. Call today and reserve your time. 319-665-2173. 319-665-2173.
When someone is kind enough to share their time with us, we better make it worth their while.
They don't want to do the, people call it the game, right?
Patrick Gates and Terry Adams of Deary Brothers Ford talk about what Here For You means to them.
You don't have to spend a half a day in our dealership to get that good competitive price. We just want to try to deliver that to you up front.
And that makes me feel good, makes me proud.
Because that's what people want. They want a fair, honest deal.
As far as a statement Here For You, we want to not just say it, but live it.
Find out what it means to you at Deary Ford in Iowa City.
Hi, this is Tiffany at Senior Benefits. Are you confused with Medicare questions, anything having to do with Medicare? I take care of all Medicare customers, people under 65. I also do life insurance, long-term care, cancer insurance. I'm here to help you navigate any questions that you may be having or frustrations and anxiety that you may have with Medicare or insurance in general. Give me, Tiffany Rao, a call at 319-631-4795.
GT Carr, owner of Supple's Building and Remodeling, has been offering unmatched service and quality for over 25 years. The trained professionals at Supple's Building and Remodeling will install and guarantee the products used in any job, no matter how big or small. They also stand behind their work and offer no-nonsense, exceptional customer service from design to completion and beyond. Whether it's a simple window replacement or a major house addition, you'll have the confidence that Supple's Building and Remodeling is committed to quality. Visit suples.net or call them today at 319-337-2246. When you go to a family restaurant, you want three things. One, a wide selection of breakfast, lunch, and dinner items. Two, you want those selections to be affordable and delicious. And three, you want to be treated like family. You get all three at the Midtown Family Restaurant. Breakfast items available anytime the doors are open. Legendary tenderloins, onion rings, and hot roast beef sandwiches. Daily specials at each location, and no matter if you're coming in solo or with a group of 20, you get the same special family treatment. The Midtown Family Restaurants at Court and Scott Streets and at the Walmart Plaza on Highway 1 West. Follow them on Facebook or at midtownfamily.com. The family's waiting for you.
This is Leah Pasha, and I've been saying hit a deer, call Premier for years, and it works. Deer divots and dings do damage, but Premier Auto will do right by you. That's what my dad Nathan's driving at and dreams about. Do yourself a favor. When your car is dinged, be a deer and call Premier. The deer don't like Premier, but you will. Premier Automotive, North Liberty's premier auto body repair shop.
Hit a deer? Call Premier.
Don't let just anyone take care of your smile. At Diamond Dental, you can expect compassion, expertise, and a personalized care plan to protect your teeth for life. With more than 30 years of combined experience, Dr. Forbes and his staff are prepared to tackle even your toughest dental problems, leaving your smile healthy and sparkling. Diamond Dental offers a full range of general and cosmetic dentistry, as well as dental treatment options for snoring and sleep apnea. It's never too early to start thinking about what's best for your smile. Schedule an appointment today by calling 319-390-3703 or visiting the office at 5815 Consul Street Northeast, Suite D1 in Cedar Rapids. You can also visit DiamondDentalPC.com for more information. Dr. Forbes is a proud sponsor of the Hawkeye Wrestling Club and the Inner Circle. Let the Diamond Dental team provide superior care for your entire family.
Hawkeye fans, you love watching the black and gold. You know Hawkeye Black and Gold. As a Hawkeye fan, there are no better colors than the Hawkeye Black and Gold. Hi, I'm Steve Anderson. When you're buying, selling, or refinancing your property, consider the green and white team, Hawkeye Title and Settlement. Give us a call at 351-8600. Hawkeye Title and Settlement. The team you love, the people you trust.
Hi, I'm Jim Street, owner of Streets Maintenance. As a licensed, insured, and bonded master plumber, I specialize in all plumbing repairs, including but not limited to water heater and sump pumps to toilet and faucet repairs and replacements. As an Iowa City native, I know how frustrating it can be when any part of your plumbing system breaks down. That's why I only use trusted brands and quality materials. I offer same-day, next-day service coupled with a fair price. I also offer general services to mobile homes. For more information about my business, I'm online at streetsmaintenance.com and Facebook, or give me a call at 400-4483. 400-4483.
Streets Maintenance. Honest plumbing at a fair price.
The Oxyoke Inn is ready to serve you with the same fresh food, prepared to order and served with a passion that you've come to expect since 1940. Serving our famous Sunday brunch buffet with lunch, dinner, family-style banquets, and carry-out daily. Reservations are easy at oxyokeinn.com or call for big or small tables and private rooms. We can't wait to serve you soon at the Oxyoke Inn. The Oxyoke Inn. In the heart of Amana.
From the Harty and Stalker Studios in the heart of the Hawkeye Nation, this is the mighty 1630 KCJJ, Iowa City.
Harty and Stalker Jewelers, making memories, making moments.
It is going to be a warm one, very summer-like today, mostly sunny with a high right around 83 this afternoon. We do have a chance of scattered thunderstorms tonight and again tomorrow. Not a big severe weather chance, but a couple of storms could produce marginally severe wind or hail. Our low tonight, 62. Tomorrow, 74 with falling temperatures in the afternoon by Wednesday. Mostly cloudy, colder, 48. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable on the mighty 1630 KCJJ. Currently, it is 60.
KCJJ weather, brought to you by Plum Supply.
Plum Supply kitchens and baths. Your home never looks so beautiful.
All right, we're back.
We're back?
We're back.
Okay. Yeah, former Hawkeye DeSante Bowen is back in the portal.
Played at St. Bonaventure.
Yep.
And remember, their coach just retired too, I believe. That might have something to do with it. But Tom just said he was averaging 10 and 5 this year.
Yep.
So, and I'm thinking with the coaching change, and he may think, hey, I had a good year. I can go back to the Power 4 level. Let's see what happens.
And
he was a good kid.
I'll bet he does.
He was a nice kid. It just didn't work out for him here. He just couldn't figure things out offensively. He just couldn't get his shot to fall when he was trying to establish himself.
No.
But he was a good kid, and hopefully nothing but the best for him.
Yeah.
The portal is here, man. It's going to be nuts these next. And people are like, well, it's not open yet. You can still say you're entering the portal.
Of course.
Whether it's open or not doesn't mean anything other than the fact it can't officially go through the stepping process. But you can still say, I'm entering the portal. I'm in the portal.
You know, those agents have been calling coaches for months.
They don't care if the portal's. I mean, the portal to them is always open.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, it's always open. And you can always declare, hey, I'm entering the portal. I mean, like Jackson Shelstead's already said that he's entering the portal. And I've seen a lot of list of point guards, and he's seems to be the one on top. And he averaged 13, 6, and 3 over 3 years at Oregon. He's a good player. He led him to the NCAA tournament twice. Just had hand injuries this year that kept him from being able to play. And the last report I saw on him, I think the schools of Arizona, Florida, just your elite ones. But again, will Ben be able to cash in on this run here and during this moment use that to maybe get in with some of these guys, or does he even feel the need to do that? Like I said, maybe he's just got his, nope, I like these guys. We don't need to have the guy that all the Power Fives go. There's plenty of options out there, which there will be.
Yes.
And this could take a while.
100%.
So it's going to be interesting to see and you, Tom, there's going to be tons of reports out there that never materialize or lead to anything.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean that stuff, that's part of it. What can you get in that little moment to get people to, hey, look what I got, guys.
People were so excited that Lauren Betts was transferring a few years ago. Well, she played with Caitlin.
No, she played with Addie. She played with Addie O'Grady in high school.
And she played with Caitlin in AAU. She's interested. No, she wasn't.
Yeah, and that was I never thought she was going to come here. No. But I think some of that was people in the media hoping that happens because, again, there's a lot of fans in the media. Some of these guys write stuff as fans. This is what I want and hope happens, and she was never going to come here.
No.
I never heard anything other than some Iowa media people fantasizing about it that had any substance, and so
that's all
I
it
never
was.
really, she was going to stay on the West Coast. And what's interesting is she plays for UCLA. They're really good, but most of their games are played before arenas 3/4 empty. UCLA doesn't draw anything hardly out there. Nobody cares.
No, they don't.
On the things to do list, UCLA basketball, men and women, even though they're both pretty good, it's just not high up there.
And their football stadium is just ridiculously empty most of the time.
And it doesn't help that they haven't been very good lately. No, it's just that's a tough sell out there. I mean, it really is. USC, when their football team is dominant, yes, then it catches the imagination. But even when they start to struggle, you don't see Snoop Dogg and them on the sidelines as much as you do when they're winning. I mean, it's just there's a lot to compete without in L.A. And did you see the game Northwestern was playing Oregon? In softball, Oregon was leading 4-2 at Northwestern. Northwestern, I believe, had runners on second and third with one out, go-ahead run at the home plate. The game had to end because they agreed before the game that if it reached a certain point time-wise, they'd end the game no matter what because Oregon has to get back home.
Jesus, that's ridiculous.
And Oregon,
the way it is, if they had to fly, the way it is.
Well, that's true.
But that's the risk. That's what happens when you throw geography out the window.
Yeah.
And Oregon's it's only halfway across the country. I mean, it's just when you have a conference that goes from coast to coast, this is all these little sacrifices made by those teams are so football and men's basketball can continue to control everything with all the television revenue. I just saw that. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. They're not even allowed to finish a game anymore.
Crazy.
It's just nuts. And it's happened in baseball, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's where we are. That is where we are, and I think it's not. I don't think anything's going to change.
No, probably not.
I don't think the Pac-12's never going to be like it was before. I mean,
or the Big 8, or the Big 10.
But I'm guessing. I wonder if some of these schools, though, and I know they do. Some of these schools on the West Coast have buyer's remorse. Mm-hmm. I mean, and I know they've got a ton of money, but I've read a ton of stuff where. People are like, yeah, this is so, and Mick Cronin bitches and moans all the time about the traveling. I know at this point it falls on deaf ears, but he brings up a lot of good points.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're the ones. I mean, Rutgers has it bad now too, because Rutgers is on the East Coast and Maryland and what have you. But there's a lot more teams closer to Ohio State and Penn State. There's not much close to Oregon and Seattle. I mean, what's the close? Nebraska?
Nebraska's the
closest. Think about that. Yeah, and it's tough. But the money earned from being in this conference offsets think about how much more those programs are spending in travel now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's incredible.
It's got to be astronomical, but there's so much coming in television-wise that they're willing to make that sacrifice. It was interesting. I looked at the UCLA baseball Twitter account on Sunday. There they were promoting 10 a.m. start. And I'm thinking, well, noon here is. It was a 10 a.m. start for them, and that's just life as a West Coast team in the Big Ten.
Well, they seem to do okay with it.
Yeah, it didn't seem to bug them. Yeah, but I'm guessing by 3 days here in Iowa City, they were used to the surroundings, and the weather was better on Sunday than it was. The weather seemed to get better a little bit each day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for baseball. And I'm not sure how I wasn't able to make it out there with all the other stuff going on. I thought about going out there for the Sunday, and then when I saw they were down, I'm like, it's going to be hard enough for Rick to have to do his normal interview. I didn't want to show up for the first time under those circumstances. They're going to get Big Ten teams here. Do we have their schedule, the Iowa baseball schedule in front of us?
Well, I can get it.
Oh, no, I could do that. I thought we had it. I'm not sure who they play next week.
Let's see, women.
Actually, I could look at the story. That I know where to look. What did you guys have for dinner last night?
Monica's.
Oh, wow. What'd you get?
The Megan Gustafson pizza, which is what I always get.
What's on that?
Sausage, pepperoni, and it is delicious.
Oh, I've had. Now I've had that before.
Okay, Iowa baseball schedule. What do you want to know?
Who do they play this weekend?
I
know they're at Bradley tomorrow, right?
Is Bradley tomorrow? Minnesota at Iowa.
They got to win that series.
Yeah.
They got to win. Minnesota's not very good anymore. They got to win at least 2 games, preferably a sweep. Right now they're 3-6 in the Big Ten. They need to start making up some ground.
And then their series after that is at USC.
Yeah, they really have to get at least two out of three. Yep. I'm not sure what USC's ranked, but I'm guessing they're probably pretty good, and it's there.
Pretty good.
So yeah, this series with Minnesota is huge. So
hello. That's what I was just going to call in and tell you. They play Minnesota this weekend.
All right.
Big series.
They'll beat the Gophers.
Yeah, they better. They need to. Yeah, they need to win at least two.
Bye.
Karn she did her own Bonnie Reynolds, and we're going to beat the Gophers.
Yeah.
Now they just got to go do it. I mean, preferably a sweep. You get a sweep, then at least you're back to 500, and because the USC series ain't going to be easy.
We had there's one thing that I printed off that I found interesting. The Iowa State women's basketball team that got 8 kids in the portal at least. One of the assistant coach's wife, and I believe it's Bill Fennelly's kid, posted something. And
is her name Lindsay?
Yes.
She used to be a really good guard for Iowa State.
Correct.
Lindsay Meters, I think, was her name.
Oh, Lindsay Meters from Solon, wasn't she?
No, that's Lindsay. No, wasn't it? It was Lindsay something. Isn't her first name Lindsay?
Yes.
Yeah, I can't remember her last name. You're thinking of Lindsay Meter. That's not. This was something with an S at the end of the name, similar to Lindsay Meter.
She says, I'm a wife to a college coach at a program where I was named a Hall of Famer. Iowa State women's basketball is literally my blood, has been and always will be. I'm not immune to what's taken place, and while heartbroken, confused, and challenged, I know other truths not known by many to exist in the ever-changing landscape of college athletics.
So she's basically defending her father-in-law.
And
former coach.
Let me finish.
Okay.
Wallow is not in this program's DNA. Self-pity is not an option, and hearing the opinions of disgruntled online posters doesn't serve any reality. Energy goes where attention flows. I celebrate the ones who stay. I respect the jobs done by many, and I appreciate the reality of my life, the only one I can control. I can promise you this. There will be a team next year. That work has already more than begun. Players leave for any reason, just like any other adult would a job. Every second wasted spewing viral and online hate, blowing out the candle at a program where amazing women have played and stayed and committed. So,
no, I get what she's saying. She's defending her father-in-law, the school she represented. She was a really good player, but also doesn't change the fact that 8 players have entered the portal. There's something going on there.
Well,
the message isn't getting across, apparently. Now, I will say they did make the NCAA tournament again this year. It's not like they had a horrible season. But, again, 8 players you're saying have entered the portal.
That isn't right. Yeah,
there's something that's just not right there.
Including Addie Brown.
Yeah, and Lindsay here is obviously exceptionally biased in this case. It's not only 100%. The school, it's her husband, and it's her father-in-law. I get what she's doing. She's defending him, but it still doesn't change the fact that there's apparently issues.
Yeah.
When that many players leave the portal, especially someone like Addie Brown. Now, is Crook's done? Does she have another year? She's only a junior.
She has another year.
No, she hasn't hit the portal, has she?
No, there's been rumblings, but no, she has not.
I mean, if she hits the portal, then I don't. I mean, you've got by far the greatest coach in program history. Bill Finley's been a really good coach for decades.
And the question is, though, maybe for too long.
But has it hit its course? Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, it maybe has. And
so what you look at, if you're Audie Crooks, okay, does she have a chance to play basketball in the WNBA? And I don't know that.
I don't know that for sure. I don't know how she would do it, but I didn't think she'd be this good at this level either. I guarantee if Audie Crooks hit the portal, she'd have teams lining up for her.
Well, and she's got one more year to make her collegiate money, and if she's not thought to be a WNBA prospect, then she's either got to go overseas to try to play or get a bag of money this year and hit the portal.
Well, I see her all the time doing those Fairway commercials. I'm sure they're probably paying her a little bit of coin. She's probably making some pretty decent money right now. It's interesting, though, that they've had 8 players hit the portal, but not her.
But not her.
And so, it looks like there's trouble in Ames, and I'm sorry, but the daughter-in-law of the head coach, I think she's obviously going to take a stand that you would predict, and she did, and I'm no problem with it, but it's almost, the word she used at the beginning, she's blaming all this on players not being committed. That's kind of how I interpret it.
Yes, that's what
it has
I read.
Nothing to do with any of the establishment there. Of course she's not going to say that because she's related, but I thought she took some sort of veil. I thought she kind of called those players out, the ones leaving. She used the word wallow, self-pity.
Yeah.
So she's basically saying these people are all leaving because they're spoiled brats and they're not willing to work under this great system, under this great man at this great,
They're
and that's
not
fine.
committed.
She can feel that way, but it still doesn't change the fact that it's happening.
No, it doesn't.
And she is biased. I mean, she's very biased.
Well, her husband's livelihood depends on it, for
Yes.
one.
And it's her father-in-law.
And
The guy she played for in college who helped make her a star. I get it. But there's two sides to every story, and the other side is that 8 players have hit the portal.
Yeah.
See, I didn't even know that until you told me the other day.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if that was going on here, what people would be saying about Jan?
Oh, my God.
If all of a sudden 8 Iowa players hit, God, it would be nonstop.
Oh, my God, I can't even imagine.
And there could be some players.
Absolutely.
They've already, Kenise Johnson, but no knock on her, but she was never going to play here.
No.
And I think she realized that. She was here for 3 years. I'm guessing she's probably close to getting her degree in 3 years. A lot of them seem to do that now. And Emily Rodriguez, haven't heard anything on that. I haven't been looking either.
Nothing official, no.
No, what are the rumors?
She did post something that said, I am mulling my options.
Was that on Instagram? Because
Yes.
isn't that where she also posted, supposedly, I didn't come up here to sit behind?
Yes.
I think that's where a lot of the problems started. Wasn't it taken down right away, too?
Yes.
You saw it, I didn't. Or you
Yes.
said you know somebody who saw it.
Yes.
Or you saw it.
No, it was posted. I saw it.
And it said that I didn't come up here to sit behind Kylie Feuerbach
To watch Kylie F. and Feuerbach.
I think
play basketball.
that's where Iowa probably said, "Hey, we can't have this."
Yeah, that ain't right.
That ain't right. So I would be surprised if she comes back, and it's unfortunate because she showed she could have helped them.
Yeah, she could have.
She could have helped them if she was willing to play within the framework of the offense. She got a little out of control in that last game. They're down in
The double spin?
The double spin move. That was a little nuts.
But you don't need somebody with that attitude.
No, that's not a good
not
sign.
at all.
That's not a good sign.
That is not.
And that's the risk, though, in this portal age. They brought a girl in. She's from the Dominican Republic. She played at, where was she from, Central Florida?
Yes.
She knew nothing. I mean, you brought her in here. I'm not knocking any of those places. This was just a whole strange new place for her, and sometimes it doesn't work.
Yeah, and it didn't.
And I could see, she was a better offensive player than Kylie Feuerbach, without question.
Without question.
But you got to fit into what your team's trying to do, too. And Kylie Feuerbach was a better defensive player. Kylie could guard multiple positions. So there was reasons why Kylie was playing, too. But if you notice, though...
Some of it could have been attitude.
Yeah, some of it could have been. And I will say, in fairness to Jan was working to get Emily in. She was part of the rotation.
She was.
It wasn't like she wasn't playing. So.
And a lot of us liked what we saw, too.
So I'm just assuming that she had... That was probably what tipped the iceberg. She wasn't going to play anymore, but she had to stay with the team to continue getting her NIL and go to class and whatever to stay eligible. So we'll see. I'll just be surprised if they decide to keep her or if she decides to stay.
I would too.
Wouldn't surprise me if she went back down south.
Of course, we don't have the full story.
No, we don't. We don't have all her side. But she did put that on Instagram.
Yes.
So that's just not a good look. And I'm sure if I'm Jan, when I saw that, oh God, you can't have that. That's the problem with social media, though, man. It's so impulsive.
It is.
It's so easy to do stuff that sometimes you end up regretting, and sometimes you don't, I guess. But that's just the problem.
Well, so the Iowa State basketball wife wasn't wrong about that either.
Oh, no. I just thought when she started it by wallow.
In self-pity?
In self-pity, to me, she's basically just throwing them all under the bus. Hey, this is on you. This ain't on us. This program's perfect. You people are the ones with flaws. That's how I interpreted that. Isn't that how you interpreted it?
100%.
I don't think that's necessarily fair when they don't get a chance to respond to what you're saying. But again, she's biased. She's family. I get it.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. It was interesting. I heard Matt Painter after Purdue lost. And he brought up a good point. Purdue fan, players are probably getting ripped after they lost. And he's like, in my day, you waited to pick up the newspaper the next day to get ripped. He goes, you just knew how it worked. He goes, now these guys are getting ripped during timeouts. They're getting ripped. He goes, it's a lot on these guys. And he goes, I know they're getting paid. Don't get me wrong. But he goes, it's still a lot for these guys to have to shoulder. And he is right. The criticism is X is a cesspool for just anonymous freaking experts who are either on there to tell you they know more than you, or they're just on there to make fun and to hurt and to just get under people's skin.
That's what a lot of it is.
That's what most of it is.
I left X for exactly that reason.
So did I.
Yeah.
So did I. And now that I'm not posting the national articles anymore on our feeds, we just have the local stuff. I mean, I don't even have to deal with.
Matt Painter is one of the best coaches out there. I mean, they won the Big Ten tournament. They got to the Elite Eight. That is a good postseason. Just because you don't get to the Final Four doesn't mean it's he had a great season this year.
Yes, great.
I mean, to me, if you get to the Elite Eight, that's performing in the NCAA tournament. Had Fran done that, he'd still have his job. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, of course he would.
Yeah, so, I mean, if you're a Purdue fan and you're ripping, and I'm not saying it's Purdue fans, but something caused Painter to feel the need to say that to defend his players. And he's right, though. The old days, it seems so prehistoric now. You did have to wait until – I remember in the newspaper business, I remember, God, I hope when I thought I had a scoop or something, one of the first things I'd do the next day, I'd go down to the gas station to see if the Register or the Gazette had it. And then if they didn't, you'd be happy you won that day. Now you try to win a minute.
Yeah.
Everything is just
and everything
immediate.
And it really depends on the speed of your internet.
Well, for a lot of people, being first is more important than being necessarily right and accurate.
Yeah.
If you can just get it out there first, well, at least you're getting the people to come to see your brand, and it's all about branding. But no, I mean, I think Matt Painter, I think he's underrated, to be honest with you.
Oh, I think he's a great coach.
I think he's a great coach. I mean, and he's doing it at his alma mater. He took over for Gene Cady, which couldn't have been easy. And he is, I think Gene Cady never made the Final Four. Painter is, but no, every year Purdue is good. And I'm telling you, a lot of those guys on Purdue's team, they're not going to play in the NBA.
Well, maybe it was Purdue made the Final Four when Iowa did.
Yeah, but Gene Cady wasn't. I don't believe he.
Cady wasn't the coach.
No,
in
it was.
1980?
It was. What was his name? Something Young, maybe. No, I'm thinking of football. No, Cady was not the furthest Cady I got. I believe was the Elite Eight with Glenn Robinson. I believe. I can't remember.
Doug.
Or was it Rose? Lee Rose, was that the Purdue coach?
Oh, that could be.
I'm going to look it up now. 1980 Purdue. Because yeah, Purdue also because wasn't that Joe Barry Carroll?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, yeah, that probably would have been before Gene Cady. You're right.
I thought it was Lee Rose. God,
I know that rings a bell.
It's so hard to get off of certain things on the internet once you.
The 80-81 was Gene Cady.
No, 79-80.
Oh, okay.
So 80-81 was his first year.
I believe it was his first year. Because I don't believe he ever made the Final Four, even though I still say he's one of the greatest coaches ever.
Well, Gene Cady Court at Purdue.
Good man, too.
Hello? Lee Rose, you're right.
Yeah, Lee Rose.
Hello?
Hey, Matt, I'm with you.
Could you could you get on your phone, please?
We can't hear you.
Hold on. How about now?
Now we can.
Better.
All right. Yeah, the internet age has definitely changed things like crazy for the release of information. I remember the day that we came down and went on the air to tell Captain Steve about Paul's discount closing, and I had a newspaper reporter call me walking out of the studios. She was upset because we told them to wait until 9 o'clock to put it on their website, and we let Steve put it on the air around 8 a.m. She was upset.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay.
And that was 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And they were miffed because you guys scooped them by a half an hour.
Was that only 8 years ago?
I think so. Probably about 7 or 8 years ago. And, we had known for months and months, but we finally told the owner, we said, listen, if you don't tell your staff by Easter weekend, we're just gonna put it out there because the employees had no idea, and they'd been working on it for a long time, and we just didn't feel like that was fair.
Yeah. So you blew it up.
Well, we just wanted people to know the real story, and you guys helped us communicate that.
Yep.
We wanted them to stay, right? We didn't want people to think that we shut them down or didn't renew their lease. Bad gossip travels fast around here.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And you guys helped us announce the straight story, and we just felt it was important to get it out to your audience before the newspapers. But, man, they were just chomping at the bit to push it live on the websites, and I had no idea they would have got that butthurt about it.
Well, they did.
They did.
You were right.
Too bad for them.
All right, have a good one.
Thanks, man.
And then the real story is they had a 20% sale, 20% off sale, and they marked everything up 25%. I remember that.
Yeah, that's...
So you ended up paying 5% more?
Yeah.
So that's. I don't think that's really that unusual. I think that's kind of a retail ploy.
It's kind of misleading.
Pretty obvious, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious. But, no, and then, we had a similar situation. We got Joann's when it was moving.
Mm-hmm.
We got a press release, and they never told the manager here that they were moving to Sycamore Mall. And then she got pissed off at us because she said it was false. Remember? She came out
I remember.
And said, you're a liar, And nobody told her that they were moving.
Yeah, no, the internet has changed everything, good and bad. What's interesting, I'll click on stuff from media people, some local, and they'll click some, hey, here's who I think so-and-so should hire, or here's my things, and I'll click on it thinking it's something I'm going to read, and it ends up being them doing a video of themselves. There's so much of that now, these videos where media people talk into their phone.
Yeah, I ain't watching any of that.
I'd rather read.
100%.
Now everybody's trying to be Stephen A. Smith.
Seriously, one of the reasons I dropped even doing the national stuff on our site, and people, can go to the national sites themselves, but you can't read anything. It's all video and ads, and everything keeps popping up. You can't complete it.
I think there is still something to be said for reading.
I'd much prefer to read
everything
something.
Doesn't have to be a freaking video, but
100%. I don't watch them.
But now people, they're not journalists; they're media personalities, media influencers, and so much of it is putting themselves out there. Like a lot of things now, I see. Like the moment a sporting event ends, a lot of the media. The first thing they do is they get right in front of, and they do this minute and a half. This is what we just saw. Blah blah blah. Come back for more. But it's just too much.
Hello.
But maybe I'm just a dinosaur. I just don't think there's so many people talking on their cell phones now and using it as like their stage.
Hello.
Good morning. I was going to bring up about Purdue playing Iowa in 1980 here in Iowa City. Lee Rose spoke at the iClub breakfast that day, and he really was a good guy. My dad and I went and were impressed by that. But that night we went to the game, and then after the game, Purdue won in a close game. After the game, we went to Wendy's down on Riverside Drive. And while we were in there, in comes the Purdue team.
Wendy's.
Yeah, and so we look, and here's most of the team, and they're over in one corner, and the coaches are in the opposite corner. They're out towards Riverside Drive, and sitting closer to us towards the counter, all by himself was Joe Barry Carroll, and I thought. That tells me a whole lot about that guy because he wasn't with his guys. The coaches didn't want anything to sit near him or whatever. And I remember talking with Tony McAndrews, was our neighbor, and he said we recruited Joe Barry Carroll. Iowa did.
Yeah, they did. And they didn't like him on his visit.
That's what I was going to say. The players got to vote on it. And no, that's okay. The players got to vote. Luke, did that. What do you think? And the guy said he won't fit in.
Yeah, from Denver, Colorado. Nickname was Joe Barely Cares.
Yes. He was.
How many burgers did Joe Barry have in front of him?
I'm thinking 3. He was 7 feet tall, and
he was a good player. I mean, we can say what we want about his attitude. He was a very skilled player, very good for his size. And
right, but not a great guy.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
I mean, he also earned that reputation in the NBA, too, so that many people can't be wrong. No, but that is how Lute did it, and I'm sure that's how a lot of teams do it. They let their players give them feedback.
Jen does that,
I think they all do it to a certain extent.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I've heard that story, too, but thanks again for sharing it.
You bet. Take care.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
So a couple 3 burgers for Joe Barry. I wonder if he had triples.
But back then, Wendy's was still relatively new. 1980.
And the burgers were a hell of a lot
And
better.
remember they had the triple.
Bigger.
I remember they had the triple, and I remember reading the amount of calories in a triple. And I always wanted to eat a Wendy's triple, but I never did.
I did.
I never ate a
I
Wendy's.
had one. I don't need quite
Too
that
much. Just too much. The bun couldn't even hold it, could it?
No, the meat to bun ratio was not
Those
right.
were juicy burgers.
But back then, though,
they
I
were
guess
good.
Wendy's. Now, knock on Wendy's now, but that probably now you kind of look at that's the best they could do is Wendy's. Back then, though, that probably wasn't one of your better options. It was still a relatively new.
But it was good. Wendy's was good.
Well, and it was so different than McDonald's when it came out.
And now, boy, we went to Burger King a couple weeks ago, and
was it good?
It was, but the Whopper Juniors at Ann it looked like a slider.
Yeah, they are small. But I will say, have you seen the commercial with the new Wendy's CEO?
No.
Or no, Burger King CEO. He's coming out with this new campaign saying, hey, man, fast food, we have not served you people the right way, including us. We're going back to our old day. We're going back to because I've said this from the beginning. My favorite fast food burger, and when it's done right, is a Whopper. I think it's the best.
Whoppers are delicious.
I think they're the best. And he said, we're going back to our roots. We're going back to how when we started this thing. He goes, we've been letting you people down. And he's talking about crisp, just a better product. But, again, the challenge is going to be to get people to work at your stores.
Yeah.
For an acceptable wage.
Yeah.
Because I really don't want to ever want to go to a place like McDonald's and have to tip. I mean, we're already tipping at enough places. You know, I mean, pretty much every restaurant you go to, besides a fast food joint, pretty much ask you.
Yeah, but pretty much.
Pretty much any sandwich. That wasn't that way 20 years ago, Tom. Even 10
Nope.
years. I mean, did you have to? Did you tip at Subway and all these places? 10 and 50, did they have it on the pay?
No.
You didn't, did you?
No, I don't. No.
You didn't really tip unless somebody actually you sat down and somebody.
Yeah.
Now a lot of these places they'll start at 15 or 20% your tip after they just spent 2.5 minutes making your sandwich, and I always tip something.
Yeah, I do too.
But but if you're ordering, hey, I want to go eat there so I can eat for $10 and get a decent sandwich, but then if you with the tax the next thing and they expect you to tip 30 or next thing you know that's $10 sandwich is a $15 sandwich with a tip.
Mm-hmm.
It just puts a lot of onus on the consumer.
When I go to Jimmy John's, they don't ask for a tip.
No, they don't. They're about the only one that doesn't.
Yeah.
And you don't have to tip, but last thing you need is to show them that you're not tipping, and then they make your sandwich and they hack on it.
Wipe their nose.
Wipe their nose, their ass.
Well,
take the bun and just put it, drop it on the floor and then put it back up. You always worry about them doing some damage.
You always have to go.
But don't you kind of worry about that if you don't give a decent tip and they haven't made it? I mean, they're human back there, but I don't know. There's just a lot of pressure to tip.
No, I noticed I don't eat at Jimmy John's, but they have something that they call a pizza burger.
I
or
saw
something
that.
now,
Yeah.
Or
it's here for a
pizza
limited time
sub
only.
Or,
yeah.
I've been just wondering if they're any good.
I don't know.
I wouldn't know.
I like the tuna sandwiches.
I've had theirs. Jimmy John's are big sandwiches. They fill you up. Now, Jersey Mike's has this spicy Italian thing they've been advertising for a limited time. I think they said it's $8.99. They pour all these spicy peppers and stuff. It looks pretty good. Now, does Jersey? I believe they asked you to tip. Jimmy John's is about the only one that does not ask you to tip.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're about the only one that I can think of right now. Of course, fast food places don't ask you to tip, at least not yet. You think that'll ever happen?
I don't know. They're making, for fast food in this community, they're making $15, $16 an hour.
Which is that's pretty good.
Well, that
seems to be
more than the minimum wage.
Oh, double the
twice.
Twice as much.
Well, Iowa City's minimum wage now they're saying it should be 13.
But isn't the national like $7.25
yeah,
or something like that?
$7.25,
which is like $290 a week. Yeah, that's
ridiculous.
Yeah, no, that is ridiculous. But no, again, I'm not against tipping. I just think there's a lot of pressure on the consumers to make up maybe for some businesses that would rather have you tip than then pay more per hour. And I think that gets frustrating after a while.
I tend to not want to tip the car wash guy.
The car wash is expensive enough.
It is.
Why don't you just go to one where you wash it yourself?
Because I don't want to.
I don't want to
See,
do that.
I do the one down there on the one on First Avenue. I just get out of mine and just do it myself for $5.
No, it doesn't get as clean.
Yeah, it does.
You got the brushes and everything. And
No, I'd much rather do it that way. But I'm not a big car wash guy anyway. Car wash. Do it yourself at home.
I don't want to.
While that movie's on.
No.
Franklin Ajayi.
Do not want to.
Yeah, I want to drive through. I want to get all the colors.
Yeah, I don't
like.
I've never liked those drive-through things. But no, the one right down there.
Well, why don't you just get leeches when you get sick too? I mean, it's the same.
Well, I don't believe in that.
It's the same thing.
But no, I do that one down there. For some reason, I like being able to wash my own car, especially when they have all the devices right there for you. It ain't cheap though. But no, like my neighbor does his. He usually washes his cars every Sunday, like clockwork. I mean, he does it himself. So think about all the money he saves.
I don't care.
Except he's spending water.
Water's not near as much during that time period that it would be to have somebody else clean it for you. So it's called self-reliant.
Screw it.
Yeah. But again, I'm not a big car. I'm not a big car wash guy. I never have been.
I've tried washing the car at home.
I don't see you as a car.
I didn't enjoy it.
I don't see you as a car wash guy by yourself.
I didn't dig it, and I did it a couple times. I said I'm not doing it.
No, I don't enjoy doing it. That's why I'd rather just drive it down the street and do it over with those.
But you're still doing it yourself.
Yeah, but it's not. It's just different. It's a lot easier because.
Are you waxing it?
No, I don't.
See?
No, I don't.
This waxes
wax on, wax off.
This waxes it.
Hey. This is a family show.
That's what Miyagi. That's what Miyagi taught Daniel-san was to wax on and wax off.
We don't talk about waxing off here.
Well, you evidently haven't heard the segments before this show.
That's all the city is people whacking off.
Well, that's true.
On park benches and in front of libraries.
And it's accepted.
Well, I don't know if it's accepted because they keep showing up on your police blotter. It's not.
Well, that's the police, but people are still sitting around.
Well, I don't think most people,
Well,
so you think people are sitting around cheering people? Some people.
I don't know that they're cheering, but we had one guy that was on that ugly bridge, and the police finally caught on to it, and the people with the university said, "Oh no, that happens every Thursday at 3:00."
I called in to the police once because a guy was whacking off at a bus stop.
Yeah.
And I thought it was inappropriate.
Very.
So I called him, and they said, "Now, where is this?" And I told him the location. He said, "Oh, yeah, he does that all the time." That was it.
Well,
that's what they said. He does that all the time.
When it was the Miller Mart, and Tap Tap was across the street at the Hy-Vee.
Uh-huh.
Whacking off, and I was in there, and Jenny Miller was the clerk then, and I said, "Somebody's got to call the police," and she goes, "He does that all the time."
All right, back to reality here. New St. Mary's center Andrew McKeever plans to enter the portal. Source told on 3. The 7'3" sophomore averaged 8.2 points and 9.2 rebounds in 23 minutes per game. Represented by, then it's got the.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's just. I mean, I'm going to look at this because now these guys that normally do this recruiting stuff. Now it's just. Let's see, Minnesota forward Jalen Crocker Johnson. He's hit the portal. He averaged 13 and 6. That's a big loss. Oh, no, he's staying at Minnesota. Jesus, I read. Oh. Listen to this. Minnesota forward Jalen Crocker Johnson has agreed to a deal to return to the Gophers. That's where we are now. They're free agents. Let's see.
100%.
I'm going to see if there's any other interesting ones. News: Butler guard Finley Bizjack. I guess that's a good last name for what we just been talking.
Horseman.
Plans to enter the portal. He averaged 6'4" junior, averaged 17.1 points per game this season, and was Big East third team. I watched him play a few times. He could help Iowa, but I also think they could do better. Oh, Bizek will also test the NBA draft process. See if there's any. That's the McKeever one. Oh, and wow, NC State is hiring Tennessee assistant coach Justin Gainey as its next head coach. That's interesting. Let's see.
Yeah, there's a lot of movement, and just wait another 10 days.
Here's another one.
And then it's going to be an avalanche.
UNC Greensboro forward Justin Neely plans to enter the portal. The 6'6" senior from Miami averaged 17.9 points and 11.5 rebounds per game. I mean, those are good.
And where did he play?
He played at UNC Greensboro, where Fran was.
Yeah.
Colorado forward Bangat Doc.
I saw him.
Averaged 11.5, 6'5". I saw him play a few times. He's not bad. What a great name, though. Bangat Doc. You like that, Captain?
Sure.
Hey, Doc.
Let's see if there's any other
What's
UNLV
up,
guard.
Doc?
Oh, here's one. UNLV guard Dre Gibbs Lawhorn plans to enter the portal. His representatives at National NIL Sports told the 6'1" junior led the Mountain West in scoring, averaging 20.7 points per game.
Oh.
That's a scoring point guard. Devin Royal from Ohio State's entering the portal. That one, he averaged
That's
13.
a surprise.
But I don't know if that's somebody who could come in and be any better than Tavion Banks if he comes back.
They're similar.
They're similar, yeah. Let's see. Here's the one. Kennesaw State guard R.J. Johnson, 6'4" sophomore from Huntsville, averaged 14.5, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists per game. Conference USA tournament MVP and first-team all-conference. I mean,
it's just so many.
I mean,
kids
but that guy
already.
looks intriguing. That guy, yeah, no, you're right. Here's one. Colgate guard Jalen Cox plans to enter the portal, but will keep the door open to returning. The 6'3" junior averaged 17.9 points, 5.2 rebounds, 5.3 assists, and 1.7 steals per game in all Patriot League. I mean, obviously it's lower level, but here's a guy.
Isn't that the league that Alvaro?
Yes, here's another. Colorado guard Barrington Hardgress has he's returning. He returned to a deal. It's just nonstop. This is all this guy does all day.
Who is that?
His name is Joe Tipton. They
I've
just
seen
do these
stuff.
updates all day.
Hello.
Anybody from Drake entering the transfer portal?
I haven't seen anything yet, but Drake has one really good guard, but Drake wasn't very good this year.
Thanks.
They do have one guard, though. I can't remember his name that scored a lot of points, but, I mean, Drake finished like 5-6 games below 500.
Because they've had great coaches there.
Well, I mean, they had
three.
Nico Medved. Yeah, no, Drake's been good for a long time, but it shows you, though, it's easy for a school like that to fall off quickly.
Uh-huh.
It can happen. Yeah, no, it's just here's a guy. The defensive player of the year in the West Coast, Miles Bird, 6 junior, 10-4, 1 block. He's entered the portal. There's so many options out there.
And just wait.
And there's going to be more, yeah.
Oh, it's going to be an avalanche.
It's going to be an avalanche. And this Frankie Collins, Vanderbilt guard Frankie Collins will enter the portal. The 6'1" senior will need a medical hardship waiver to play a 6th season. He started at Michigan. Then I think he went to Sandy. He's been all over the place. I mean, it's hard to keep up with this stuff.
It is.
Okay, well, I could read these
100%.
off. I don't need to keep reading these off all day, so I think we can.
Oh, no, you could be reading all day.
And
Literally.
Tom, you said you are going to look into trying to get Brad Heinrich on? Okay.
I've contacted him again, and we'll see what he says. Maybe he already has responded.
How about this one? News. Virginia Tech guard Neoklis Avadalis will enter the portal. The 6'9" freshman averaged 12 points and 4 assists per game. 6'9" guard. Unless that's a typing error.
No, I saw that.
Wow, that's interesting. But yeah, no, it is just it's nonstop.
6'9" guard.
Kansas State is targeting Belmont head coach Casey Alexander. I don't know if that ended up happening or not. Because like I said, wow. Okay, well I got to stop.
It goes on forever.
One thing that's going on with high school sports, Lone Tree and Highland are combining their varsity and middle school football programs.
Good, because that
just makes sense.
That makes sense. Now it'll make it easier to field a team because it's not easy for these small schools.
No,
good to hear.
The consolidations is the answer.
It's the only option, really, for some of these schools.
Yep.
I mean, look at the high school that Cooper DeJean went to. How many cities are involved in that title?
Odebolt.
I mean, it's in Odebolt, but there's like 8 other initials involved
Yeah.
with it. So, yeah, that's just how they have to survive.
Yep.
Captain, with a little breaking news right before we get off the air.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Harty?
Not that I'm aware of. I haven't seen any breaking news other than people coming and going from the portal.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's just going to be nonstop.
Yep.
And you can speculate on anyone. I mean, there's so many. It's going to be very interesting to see who he ends up with.
It will be.
I mean, it's going to.
And Jan's got to do some stuff too.
Oh, Jan definitely has to do some stuff too. Yeah, no, they're both coaches, but that's just part of it. That's just part of the gig now. They know that.
All right. Thank you, Pat. Thanks, Captain. Coming up next is Molly Suter and Hawkfanatic.com. Check it out. It be free.